Okay, it's day 362 off the grid. Yay! 3 days before a whole year of being off the grid. What am I doing today? And more the question, why is it always on days like this when I decide to do aerial projects? Probably because it's not the greatest day to do actual solar. And this is my latest aerial project. This is going on the garden shed, so I can have a car radio in there tuned to Radio Foxton while we're out in the garden. So I thought I should just quickly show how I put it together before I actually stick it up on the shed. So basically I had all this coax given to me and it had this junction box, and my original idea was to just use a piece of galvanized wire. In fact, here's a piece here. See? Just a piece of old galvanized wire. In fact, this is pretty rusty because it's been sticking in the ground at that end. And this was the other half of the wire, actually, as it happens. So I thought that this box would offer an easy way to mount the wire as an aerial, well, antenna I should strictly be saying, because I'm not transmitting with it, and provide an easy connection for the coax and the actual antenna itself. So yeah, it has. So I just soldered a little bit of hookup wire onto the end of it. Now that's well insulated there because this is actually a ground connection, and of course I don't want the antenna itself grounded. So we've got that sleeving on there. There's actually lecky tape underneath. You know, sometimes when you're in the middle of building things, you have ideas of what you might do to make things better and stuff, and so you sort of just carry on making improvements as you go. Well, one of the ideas I came up with was to wrap the wire in lecky tape, so it's going to keep that rust at bay for a lot longer. And then I thought I'd cap it off at the end, so I just had a piece of insulation off a cable and I just jammed it on and filled out the end of it with hot melt. And then I thought, well, you see, these boxes aren't really weather tight, so I just need a way of stopping water from getting in there, because normally these would be used in a reasonably sheltered location, you'd hope, although it doesn't look like that one was, does it, with all that rust, which I've cleaned up under the screws. So I made this little cap here. This is actually one of the pods from an Nespresso machine. We don't have an Nespresso machine, but sometimes you get the pods cheap and you can just take them apart and just put them in your normal coffee machine, the coffee inside it. So we end up with a few of these. So that makes a nice little cap. It's even the right colour, so it looks kind of posh. Now the coax was a bit of a job. It turns out it's actually aluminium coax, and it's got this yucky goo inside it to keep it weatherproof, I'm assuming, and it gets all over your fingers. It's horrible, and I didn't like the way it was connecting to that screw there. I've got to go back because this doesn't have macro. So I just dabbed a bit of solder on there and just soldered the bugger on. The screw's just there really just for show, maybe a little bit of physical anchoring, but yeah, so it works. And there's electrical continuity from the aerial rod to the coax, and there's no short circuits between ground. So I've prepared the other end ready to hook up to the radio, and so that's what I'm about to do.